Well, hello there, and welcome to another Adulting with Frankie. I'm Frankie, and today we're going to talk about what I consider probably the most important episode of my show I've ever done in a long time. This episode has a lot of meaning to me, and it's very personal to us that live in the dump, but I mean, out there in the real world where all you suckers live, you might have to deal with this too. I don't know what your gods are like. Gods. Oh, good God, Frankie. And, so this is all about how to deal with, elder gods. Yep. Okay, Frank. Oh, wow. So, elder gods, huh? We have elder gods? Is that what the toe god is? Is the toe god an elder god? Well, no, you see, the toe god, eye god, ear god, brain god, they all come from a giant elder god that was split into pieces. I don't know why, because it's crazy, and that's what crazy elder gods do, I guess. They just do weird shit. Mysterious, confusing shit. It doesn't ever make any sense ever. But that's what happens. That's what happens when you worship an elder god. You pretty much are just signing up for torture and misery. But anyway, so elder gods. Here in the dump, our elder god's been dead for a long time because it split itself into a lot of different pieces. But in different universes, like the Lovecraft universe or things like that, elder gods are running rampant and are causing a lot of problems and chaos for people. So here is a special little list of things to do to avoid the wrath of the elder gods. Forget how to read. Reading gets you into trouble. When you read ancient books that are dusty and in basements or like locked up in a church or buried in the ground, especially when it's buried in the ground, nothing that comes out of the ground, unless it's like food, plant-based food or like worms and bugs, if you eat that, nothing that comes out of the ground is good for you. Don't read books you dig up, especially if you dig up books in a cemetery. I did that once. Don't never make that mistake again. Oh, what book did you dig up in the cemetery? A Playboy from the 70s, and I was not prepared for so much bush. Okay, Frankie. That's a very juvenile way to look at the human body, hair is a natural thing. Oh no, I hid behind the bush while I read the magazine. Okay, anyways, let's move on. Okay, so yeah, there's poison ivy in those bushes. And, yeah, that was a really long week of scratching my balls. Yes, okay, I get it, Frankie, let's move on. Okay, so, yeah, if you find something in the ground, book-wise, or any ancient artifacts, leave it there, and you shouldn't have been digging in the ground to begin with to look for that shit. That shit only gets you into trouble, and will get you killed or possessed. So, don't read old, ancient bullshit. Also, avoid towns on the coast. A lot of the elder gods seem to be water-based, come from the ocean, which is confusing to me because they also come from space. So they're space ocean creatures, I guess. I don't know, I've never actually read any of this shit. But, you gotta watch out for those fish people. If you go to a town and there's fish people there, get the fuck out. That place is not for you. It's for fish people who worship fish people gods, and if you're a fish person, then absolutely go to the coast and live with other fish people. You'll fit in fantastically well. and be happy and live a long, weird fish person life. But if you're a normal asshole, they will sacrifice you and rip out your entrails and eat them as you slowly die. It's horrible, I've seen it, and you don't want no part of that. No part of that at all. But again, if you're a fish person, even if you're a half fish person, like a mer person, mermaid or merman or maid, merduke. I don't know. If you're a mer person, you're probably gonna be fine in the fish people town because you're a fucking freak too. So you'll fit right in. What else? If you find a mysteriously locked door, leave it locked. There are horrible nightmares on the other side of that door, I guarantee it. And even if there isn't, then it's probably just your parents fucking and you don't want to see that. So leave the door locked. Don't open that door. Don't do it. It's terrible. I've been pouring bleach in my eyes for weeks and I still can't get the sight out of my head. Well, Frankie, I told you to knock on the bedroom door before you entered. It just... nightmares. Okay, Frankie, do you have anything else to say about Elder Gods? Oh, one last thing. Just don't. Don't do it. If it involves Elder Gods, don't do it. It's bad news. It'll end up with you dead or crazy or worse, suffering an eternity in some kind of barbaric wasteland of hell, or stuck in outer space. You don't want to go to outer space. There's nothing out there that's fun. It's just big empty void, and it's cold and lonely. And yeah, don't go to space. It sucks. Space sucks. Earth is cool. It just got the only problem with Earth is it's full of assholes. But it's a lot better than space. Space sucks. Alright, Frankie, well, we're getting ready to wrap up the episode. I guess a little follow-up question from last weekend. How did you enjoy the Pride Parade? Well, there was some candy, but there wasn't lots of candy. There's lots of eye candy. I mean, lots of pretty people out there, people dressing up and having fun, having a good time. Yeah, I didn't get a whole lot of candy. Well, Frankie, you're in luck. I was worried that you'd be sad you didn't get enough candy. So, I bought you a chocolate-flavored lollipop. Oh, goody! I'm excited. And, is that a giant chocolate penis? It sure is. Give it to me.